Welcome to another episode of Dad's Rules with Kevin and Melissa Belzer as you're joining us on our road trip from Arizona to Iowa for my dad's 80th birthday, which will be on Friday.
So excited.
Yeah. So when you're hearing this episode, it will have already have happened and we'll cover all of the antics out of the reunion at a later date.
Yep.
Right now, though, we have a lot of car games to play. A ton. And I know the next one you wanted to make fun of me about, so let's dive right into it.
Because your brain is hilarious.
I'm sure you'll remember some other things that I'm not remembering, but tell the audience what it is.
Okay, ridiculous things you used to believe as a child. You get a load of this guy. Like, he tells me stuff.
Okay, first and foremost, because of when I was born, the TV shows prior to when I was born, for the most part, were in black and white.
This.
I truly thought the world was not in color, that everybody lived in black and white prior to me being born.
Isn't that weird? Please, does anybody else believe this? I've never heard of anybody saying that they thought this. I think that is so hilarious.
Yeah, so it blows my mind now when I see colorized versions of like World War II film and all that. Well, yeah, look, what more wild horses.
Oh, they're so awesome.
So I was blown away, and you know, and it actually took me quite a few years before I realized the world was not black and white
Back then,
prior to me being alive. And the other thing is that when my mom was watching TV, now this was at the house we had in Morton before we moved to the farmhouse. If my mom was watching TV and I'd ask an innocent question and understand that I am a Gen Xer, and so we were treated a little bit different than kids before and after us. But if I asked my mom an innocent kid question like, you know, while she's watching TV, hey, what else is on? She would say nothing. I would truly believe that the only thing on TV that day happened to be the channel that she was on.
See?
There was nothing else on.
Because he took it literally. And you know how people say nothing, you know, they mean nothing interesting. He thought actually nothing.
Legit, nothing.
That is so funny. Your brain is hilarious.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
now I'm sure I've told you other things that I'm not remembering at the moment. Those are the top two that popped in my head.
Those probably are the main ones that I can think of. If I think of one later, I'll just make a note. Because I feel like there's more. But
Oh, there's a bunch more because I brought them up to you and you're like, what?
those are the two probably that jump to the top of my head.
When we were little kids,
Oh man.
you would make when you would go to the concession stand at the ball game. So like we played Little League and stuff. They had the concession stand in the middle. And back then it was in Wapello. That's where I played Little League.
Okay.
Well, the concession stand, you'd ask them to make you a drink, and you'd want a squirt of all the different flavors of pop up there. And you know, we had our own unique names for it: poison, cyanide, suicide, yeah, all this. And you'd mix them all together, and then you'd be very careful drinking and thinking that if they didn't mix it just perfectly back there, something bad was going to happen to you. And this is when I was in Little League, so I've got to be 8 to 12 years old.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Well, and I never liked to call them suicides because to me that was a sad word. And so I thought I would call them frenzies.
Frenzies,
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't call them frenzies.
No, I did that. That was something I called it because I didn't like to call something that was so silly something sad. So I called them frenzies.
Well, I am reading this book right now called Persuasion. And the section I just got done with was talking about how this company, when they invited him in to speak, they told him, oh, you can't do your talk. And he goes, what do you mean I can't do my talk? And they go, well, you can do your talk, but you can't do it the way you have it written out. And he was initially taken aback by it and everything. And they said, you have to change these words that you're using. So, like, you couldn't say target, but you could say goal. You couldn't say shooting for. You had to use a different phrase.
Aiming for. No, probably not even that.
Moving towards. So they had all these different phrases because what they had realized, and it actually worked in the company, what they realized is that, and he thought this was all fluff, but what they realized when they changed them to these more aggressive words, to these other words, they actually had better productivity and less anxiety in the company in general. Which he initially was like, I don't know, it sounds spoofy and everything. And I was like a little bit of that until he broke into the studies and stuff that they'd done on it. This company had actually spent money like evaluating this. It was a medical company.
Interesting.
It was involved in the medical field somehow. But they'd done all these studies on it, and they could actually prove better productivity, better overall health of the employees, everything, by changing these different words. I don't like to use the word trigger because I think it's overused because people have made everything a trigger. Which is funny that they say triggering, and triggering is an aggressive word.
I don't even know what to substitute for that off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, but anyway, that's a nice little side segue of, yeah, you changed it to frenzy because it was, then you probably enjoyed it more than I did, calling it a suicide or poison.
Well, because I don't think I made that many of them. And I don't know if I ever did a bowl of the sodas because I didn't like, at the time I didn't like grape or orange soda. I like them both now.
Kids would still make them now, but the problem is a lot of the concession stands sell by the bottle instead.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because they don't have the fountains or anything.
Yeah, so they're doing that instead.
Yeah. I think that covers, because I probably have some, but they're not like that. But I couldn't think of any. I saw this question, I believed something was ridiculous. And if I think of it later, I'll make a note.
We're going to get gas here.
Okay.
What's the next one?
The worst jokes you've ever heard.
Okay, so you were like, I don't have any ideas of this.
I don't. I know you have one that's like...
I do have one, and that's why it's great. Okay, so when I was in creative writing in high school, they had everybody go around and tell a joke, and I don't even remember what one I told. But anyway, it was an icebreaker exercise, is what it was. And so they had everybody go around and tell a joke, and then this one girl, and I would like to say it was Kathy Yoder that said it, but I'm not 100% on that. I could be giving credit to the wrong student. But anyway, they told this non-joke, and she said it so deadpan that you had to think about, am I just not getting it or what it was? But what she did is she legit told a non-joke.
Okay.
She goes, so here's her joke. Two monkeys are sitting in a bathtub. One turns to the other and says, "Pass me the soap."
That's a non-joke.
There's nothing to it. And what made it even better is that when she was done, because she said it all deadpan, but then she starts laughing at the end about it. And we're all sitting there like,
like, what? Why is that so funny?
Yeah, but she was...
Yeah, just...
I think the fact that it wasn't a joke is what made it so funny. Yeah.
Probably.
And so I've never to this day forgotten it, and that was my sophomore, junior year of high school.
That's funny.
For that, but yeah. So anyway, that's my non-joke. That's probably a rap.
I don't like Matt, but
it's a Matt.
I like the shade of it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's probably a rap.
If you could be any fictional character, who would you be?
Well, growing up, I wanted to legally change my name to Steve Rogers, and I wanted to be Captain America.
I wanted to be Wonder Woman because I thought it was cool that she had an invisible jet.
So yeah, so if that was back then, if I was to change my name now
because
I would, if I was to change it, legitimately change it, I would change it to Lane Lefevre. That's my middle name.
Character? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my middle name and then my grandpa's name. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I'll get down to this story I wrote about a fictitious rock band and everything, and his name was Lane Lefevre. So that's where I came up with that from.
Awesome.
And yeah, so the name of his fictitious hair metal band was called Fever Lane. Yeah.
Okay.
I put a lot of time into
I
this.
see that. It's like super detailed.
Look, I used to deliver pizzas and be a courier, both full-time jobs. Had a lot of time in the car to just think about random BS.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that came out of it, was that there's a whole story and everything around it. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever sit down and actually write the story. I've written the beginning, but never really got past that. So, yeah.
I still think that could kind of be cool. Because her cape, oh, that cape I have, I got an actual, like, it was not a cheap cape. It wasn't like hundreds of dollars or anything, but it was like $50 cape. But the fabric is super heavy duty, but it's satiny and it's double-sided. And I put that cape on and I'm like, It's
You know what's funny?
So good.
So when she's flying around that plane, because you can't see the plane, but so you see this woman just floating there in the sitting position, or because she's surrounded. Because you think about it, there's glass around her, but did they somehow make the glass like an invisible type material as well, or not? I mean,
I think they did it for purposes of children.
I get that on the cartoon and stuff, but in reality, it's like when the canopy closes and everything, she's in there. Can you legit not see her anymore, or do you see this body just floating around?
So you shouldn't be able to see her. I don't know, because that's a good point. It's not that I don't know. I would think you wouldn't be able to see her. I guess I never really thought about that.
Again, it's just one of those things to where too much time on my hand, and I just get to thinking about it.
Okay.
All right, so
the rest two are gonna have to wait.
Yeah, we're gonna we're making zero progress, but it doesn't really matter because we have a lot of time to kill.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it up here. If you like the show, like, share, review, leave comments, feedback, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We're available everywhere that I want to be.
Yeah.
Until next time, go out and be the kick-ass adult I know you all can be.